Hello, I'm former journalist and political campaigner Phil Doherty, and this is Politics Unravelled. Please give the video a like and subscribe in the way in, because it helps the channel enormously. Thank you. There's no way to sugarcoat this for Labour. The last election was an absolute disaster, and they got an mighty kicking in the polls. And following the election, have come the inevitable calls for Starmer to resign or to set a timetable for him to go. On West Streeton, who has resigned from the cabinet, Angela Rayner and Andy Burnham, they're all on manoeuvres. And of course, as predicted, Starmer and his allies are fighting a rearguard action to keep him as Prime Minister and to thwart the rebels. Now, Starmer is not going to go without a fight. Despite now more than 85 Labour MPs saying that they want him gone, which under Labour rules means that they've actually well gotten over the threshold of 80 MPs. 20% basically of the Labour Party within Westminster. However, these rebel Labour MPs, they haven't actually convalesced around a single name as yet. And Downing Street has been saying either put up or shut up. Trouble for Labour is who's actually going to replace him. It actually makes Labour think that Wes Streeton or Andy Burnham is going to be more popular in the long term than Starmer is now. I mean, although Starmer's deeply unpopular, the unpopularity of Labour actually goes deeper than just one man. Now, this unpopularity actually started with the asylum protests in Epping, Essex, following the rape of a young girl. Whatever the right or wrong of the actual protests themselves, the left's reaction to locals protesting, calling them far right and fascists, badly backfired. It was actually a bad misjudgment of the mood of the British people, and to some quarters, made Labour look like it was siding with the actual rapist. And that was compounded by people being arrested, charged, and convicted for posts that had been putting them onto social media. The actual fact that some of these posts were, well, let's be honest, were appalling. I mean, calling for hostels to be burnt to the ground is appalling. I mean, any right-thinking person would think that is pretty disgusting. But it still didn't abate the public anger, or at least in some sections of it, at Labour's handling of the entire event. Nor albeit the public's desire to actually bring immigration down. The topic is still one of the highest priorities for the public, whether politicians actually like this or don't. Then there are actually the proposals for compulsory digital identity cards. Now, this was actually watered down to a voluntary status after it met strong opposition. The fact that Labour think Tony Blair's idea is a good one is quite astounding. I mean, it's already been rejected by the British public 20 years ago. Along with the political policing of tweets, non-hate crime incidents, and calling anyone it doesn't like fascists, it reinforces notions, rightly or wrongly, that Labour is authoritarian. And then there's the older generation and Labour's raids, yet again, on pensions. First, they tried to force company pension schemes to go into private ones, so the Treasury could actually rake in billions. Then Labour attacked pensioners further with new inheritance policies that saw pensions subject to a 40% raid passed down on inheritance pots. It would seem that older people are fed up with both Labour's and Tories' idea that somehow they're the pension whipping boy. Is it any wonder they voted for reform in large numbers? Then there's the younger generation who are fed up with scraping by in an economy that has been virtually stagnant for most of their lives. At the same time, the wages, particularly in order for young people, have nosedived compared to the rise in inflation. You see, they can't afford to rent, never mind buy a house, start a family, and reach other milestones previous generations enjoyed as a right. If you want to know why pubs are dying, and many young people are not even dating, they can't afford it. Then there's the young man problem. If you're older, you probably do not realise what's actually happening. But there's a major rebellion raging across the entire Western world. You see, young men are actually fed up with the sheer amount of misandry being heaped upon them. This isn't every young man, but it's enough of them to be the election deciders. In the US, Trump won because of young men. They had enough of the left's feminism branding them as the problem, telling them that masculinity is toxic, and attempting to basically demoralize and demonize them. This anger has seen 39% of young working class men say that they'll actually vote for reform, and the source for that is the BBC. As young man advocate Dr. Richard Reeves put it, they're so over it. Feminist misandry that's erupting all over social media has accelerated the number of actually young men willing to vote for anyone but Labour. I want you to actually think about that for a moment. The party set up by working class men is now perceived by many working class men as to be actively hostile towards them. It's almost as if calling people fascists for having concerns about immigration and branding young men as toxic for simply existing isn't a winning election strategy. Every single party needs to hear this. You cannot keep discriminating against young men and men in general. If you keep doing it, you'll first end up with a rebellion and then eventually a revolution, either at the ballot box or with sharp, pointy things. We're already at the rebellion stage. Then there's the farmers, who rightly or wrongly perceive Labour to hate them. Farmers are land rich but money poor, and Labour's plans to hit them with an agricultural inheritance tax has seen the rural vote extremely angry. And there are plenty of other demographics Labour has angered. Take the WASPy women, for instance. And this is a real problem for Labour because its ideology has angered just too many different demographics for it to actually win. Now then, is electing Streeton, Rayner, or Burnham to become PM, is it really going to shift the dial in the long term? Too many bridges have been burned too soon, and there's no going back. The only way that Labour can actually turn things around is to actually turn around themselves, okay, and stop being so ideologically driven. You see, it isn't just Starmer who's the zombie. It's the entire Labour Party at the moment. The public at present want to see them buried. However, they still have 3 years to go. There still is a chance here that they could turn it around. But as previously said, if they really want to turn it around, they need to be 1, practical, 2, not ideologically driven, okay, and 3, listen